Hey everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons for another One Piece deck profile, and today I'm talking about Monkey D. Garp, the red-black leader from set 2. I am really enjoying this deck. I think this is probably, as far as decks that are out currently, probably the deck that suits my playstyle the most. It's a little bit of control, and it can have a little bit of aggression to it as well. A lot of people I've found have underestimated this leader because they see the combination of red and black in comparison to the combination of, say, purple and black, and think it's not a combination that makes sense. And I would say to them that they're missing the point of the leader. So what his ability allows you to do, so it's your turn. When this leader or one of your characters is given a Don, it's not once per turn, give up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 7 or less minus 1 cost for the turn. So what this means is you don't need to run any of the black cards that reduce cost because the leader has the ability inbuilt. So that gives you more room to put in things that KO or things that take advantage of zero costs being on board, which is what black is all about. But when you think about what red does, you think about, well, they got rush and they got like minus power abilities, and you got stuff like Jet Pistol that kills something that's 6,000 power, or Red Hawk that kills something that's 4,000 power. So that's not really working with what black does, because black is killing things that are a certain amount of cost. And that's why purple sounds good, because you can like reduce their cost to 3 and then play a king. But that is missing the point, because there's one other thing that red can do, and that is use Rested Don. So let's get into the profile, and I'll show you first up the most important aspect of why I want to use red for this deck. Nami, attach Rested Don, and that just extends the amount of Don you can use, the amount of cost reduction you can do. And so too is this Luffy SR, so he can attach Rested Don to himself. So you could play him for 2, and then attach those Rested Don to him, and then therefore you've been able to play a card and still reduce the cost of one of your opponent's cards, and then you can use the rest of your Don to kill something or whatever. And then once he's on the board, you can do that more, extend how much Don you can use to reduce cost. A fair chunk of this deck is about killing things that cost 0 or less, or thereabouts. So my main card is Garp, so this is what I want to start with. Ideally, this deck goes second, and you play Garp for 2 Don. So you mulligan for him, or if you're going first, you mulligan for Nami. In addition to him, who has a when attacking to KO 0 costs, you also have Kobe, and he can KO 3 costs or less on play. But you have to trash a card from hand, so that's a little bit, I don't like it as much, but it is good that it's on play. Usually when your opponent sees the Garp on board, they try to kill it as soon as they can. They can't really stop Kobe as easily though. And then event card, Meteor Volcano. This card's pretty good. It only costs 2, and it will KO something with a cost of 1 or less. So you attach Don to your leader or whatever. I would have it at 4 if I could, but I had to reduce some cards in some areas to fit everything I needed in. And this was the first one to cut, because there's enough removal there. That's 10 removal cards, basically. But the other thing that black does is take advantage of there being 0 costs by effects like Onigumo, who gains banish if there is a character with cost of 0 on board. And also there is Smoker. He's from the starter deck, and he gets double attack if there's a 0 cost on board. And he's also got the bonus of not being able to be KO'd by skills. So this is a pretty good threat. Got 7,000 power, which makes it even harder for your opponent to remove. Now, this deck does suffer a little bit from draw power, especially once you've used a Kobe to kill something. Your hand's getting a bit small. So 4 copies of Kuzan. So on play, he draws a card, and he also has the bonus of when attacking to minus 4 costs for something for the turn. Now, I'm not really running much to reduce costs because the leader does it, but it does help to have this because the leader only hits 7 cost or less. So if they've got an 8 cost or higher, Kuzan can help reduce their cost below 7, and once they're below 7, the leader ability can kick in. For my high-end attackers, I have 2 copies of Rush Shanks. I was trying the 10 cost Kuzan Secret Rare, but it didn't really feel good in this deck, paying 10 Don, wasting your turn. Rush Shanks is a better move as far as this deck goes. Now for 2k counters, we've already seen Garp was a 2k counter, but there is 8 more, so we've got Luffy, and he also has the bonus of being a pretty strong attacker once you've attached some Don to him. And this deck wants to attach Don to its cards, so that is a pretty good bonus. And then 4 copies of Suro. So if you need to, if there's an 8 cost on board and you don't have a Kuzan on board to attack with, you can play Suro and that will give something -2 cost. And that will put them into the below 7 threshold. But otherwise, she's just a 2k counter. And now for blockers, I think this deck needs a healthy amount of blockers because hand size makes it hard to defend. So we've got 4 choppers, they cost 1. 2 Don Quixote Rocinante, they cost 2. Does have counter power. Black doesn't have any 1 cost blockers, so choppers and then 2 Corazons. And then 2 of Hina. This card is fantastic. So when she blocks, on block, you can select one of your opponent's characters with cost of 6 or less, and that card can't attack during your turn. So it effectively stops 2 attacks. And it's got 6,000 power, so it's defendable as well. And then finally, for some event card counters, we have 4 copies of Shockwave. So originally I was running Radical Beam because as a 4 life leader, it's pretty easy to fall down to 2 life straight away. But Shockwave is costed Don more, but it does have the advantage of KOing an active character with a cost of 3 or less. Originally, I thought I didn't need that because I'm already running a lot of removal, but it helps to have that little bit extra. And it's better than Red Hawk because it's hitting 3 costs or less, not a specific power. So the problem with Red Hawk is if they see it coming, they'll attach Don beforehand so it'd be higher than what Red Hawk could kill. But with Shockwave, if the card is still in active mode and it's a 3 cost, doesn't matter how strong it is, it's going to die. So that's pretty good. And so that is the deck. I'm really loving it. I haven't won locals with it yet as I record this, but I'm going to play it tonight. The last tournament I went to, I got so very close. I went 4-1. The last turn, he had enough attacks to kill me, but I had a blocker, so I played the blocker and hoped for the best. But he had the Yamato that switched my blocker into rest mode and game over. Without that, I would have won next turn, but that's how things go. So I hope you enjoy this deck. I do. It's not a brain dead deck. You do need to think a little, and it helps to just have the play style for it. I think it's a play style that suits me, but it won't suit everyone. So see how you go. All the best, and I'll see you later.